Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality, Chapter 45, Humanism, Part 3. Most of us do our best not to think about that, but there's always part of our minds that knows that this can't go on forever. Part of us always knows that we're just a doctor's visit away, or a phone call away, from being starkly reminded with the fact of our own mortality, or of those closest to us, some Harrys. It was an obvious riddle once you saw it as a riddle. And it was also obvious why the Patronuses were animals. The animals didn't know, and so were shattered from the fear. But Harry knew, and would always know, and would never be able to forget by thinking warm and happy thoughts about something else. So Harry would think a warm happy thought that wasn't about something else. Within his mind, Harry discarded the last remnants of the piece of the phoenix, put aside the calm, the dreamlike state, remembered instead Favkes's piercing cry, and roused himself for battle. Called upon all the pieces and elements of himself to awaken, raised up within himself all the strength that the Patronus charm could ever draw upon, to put himself into the right frame of mind for the final warm and happy thought. Harry thought of the stars, only this time Harry added the missing ingredient. He would never truly seen it, but he would seen the pictures and the video. The earth, blazing blue and white, with reflected sunlight as it hung in space, amid the black void and the brilliant points of light. It belonged there, within that image, because it was what gave everything else its meaning. The earth was what made the stars significant, made them more than just uncontrolled fusion reactions, because it was Earth that would someday colonize the galaxy and fulfill the promise of the night sky. Mom and Dad, Hermione's friendship and Draco's journey, Neville and Seamus and Lavender and Dean, the blue sky and brilliant sun and all bright things, the earth, the stars, the promise, everything humanity was and everything it would become. Would they still be plagued by dementors, the children's children's children, the distant descendants of humankind, as they strode from star to star? No, of course not. The Dementors were only little nuances, paling into nothingness in the light of that promise. Not unkillable, not invincible, not even close. You had to put up with little nuances if you were one of the lucky and unlucky few to be born on Earth, on ancient Earth, as it would be remembered someday. That too was part of what it meant to be alive, if you were one of the tiny handful of sentient beings born into the beginning of all things, before intelligent life had come fully into its power. And Harry's eyes stared directly at that which lay beneath the tattered cloak, looked straight at that which has been named Dementor. The void, the emptiness, the open drain through which warmth poured out of the world. The fear it excluded stole away all happy thoughts. Its closeness drained your power and strength. Its kiss would destroy everything that you were. I know you now, Harry thought as his wand switched once, twice, thrice, and 4 times, as his fingers slid exactly the right distances. I comprehend your nature. You symbolize death. Through some love of magic you are a shadow that death casts into this world. And that is not something I will ever embrace. It's a childish illness that the human species has not yet outgrown. And someday we will get over it, and people won't have to say goodbye anymore. The wand rose up and leveled straight at the Dementor. Expecto Patronum! The thought exploded from him like a breaking dam, surged down his arm into his wand, burst from it as blazing white light, light that became corporeal, took on shape and substance. A figure with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, standing upright. The animal Homo sapiens, the shape of a human being. Glowing brighter and brighter as Harry poured all his strength into his spell, blazing with incandescent light, brighter than the fading sunset, the Aurors and Professor Quirrell shielding their eyes in shock. And someday, when the descendants of humanity have spread from star to star, they won't tell the children about the history of ancient Earth until they're old enough to bear it, and when they learn that they will weep to hear that such a thing as that had ever once existed. The figure of a human shone more brilliant now than the noonday sun, so radiant that Harry could feel the warmth of it on his skin. And Harry sent all his defiance at the shadow of death, opening all the floodgates inside him to make that bright shape blaze even brighter and yet brighter. You are not invincible, and someday the human species will end you. I will end you if I can, by the power of mind and magic and science. I won't cower in fear of death, not while I have a chance of winning. I won't let death touch me. I won't let death touch the ones I love. And if you do end me before I end you, another will take my place, and another, until the wound in our world is healed at last. Harry lowered his wand, and the bright figure of a human faded away. Slowly he exhaled, like waking up from a dream, like opening his eyes after sleep. Harry's gaze moved away from the cage. He looked around, and saw that everyone was staring at him. Albus Dumbledore was staring at him. Professor Quirrell was staring at him. The Auror trio was staring at him. They were all looking at him as if they would just see him destroy a Dementor. The tattered cloak lay empty within the cage.